graders, today is drafting day. We are going to take all of the facts that you've paraphrased and write them into paragraphs that will teach someone all about your topic. You'll need to use your table of contents and your planner with the post-it notes or pieces of paper, whatever you used yesterday, to make sure that you don't forget something and to help you keep your work organized. Each subtopic on your planner will be a new paragraph. We don't want to forget about the introduction and conclusion. They should each have a paragraph as well. So if you have 3 subtopics like me, your report will be 5 paragraphs. If you have 4 subtopics, then your report will be 6 paragraphs. Use your table of contents to remind you what each paragraph is about and what order you wanted to write them in. Then go to your planner and grab the post-it notes for that topic. Lay them out on your desk in the order that you want to write them in your paragraph. And remember, work on just 1 paragraph at a time. Okay guys, I've got my table of contents, my note-taking from yesterday, and some paper. And when I look at my table of contents, I see I'm going to start out with my introduction. My topic is Cleopatra, so I want to introduce the reader to my topic. If you think back to when we wrote personal narratives, you can think about those different kinds of hooks we wrote, maybe asking a question, saying an interesting fact. You want something that'll bring the reader in and make them want to read more about your topic. You may have even found a fact when you were researching, like I did, that didn't really fit into any of my subtopics, but I think it's really interesting, so I'm going to use this one as an interesting fact to start out my rough draft. And remember, as you start writing your draft, we want to try to skip lines. That way when we go back and edit later, we have space to make those edits. Part of my introduction, I want to mention my different subtopics: childhood, her time as Pharaoh, and legacy. And I want to kind of combine those into 1 or 2 sentences so that the reader knows what's coming up. This isn't the time to actually share my facts. I'm just letting the reader know what it is I'm going to be writing about. So here's my introduction so far. Cleopatra was Queen of Egypt over 2,000 years ago. So that was my interesting fact to hook in my reader. She had an interesting childhood before becoming Pharaoh and is still remembered today. So I've got her childhood, that she's Pharaoh, and her legacy that she's remembered today. And remember, right now while we're drafting, don't worry about spelling or grammar. We will edit and revise later and we'll be able to fix all of those things. So once I have my introduction, I'm going to check my table of contents. So I decided my first subtopic paragraph is going to be about her childhood. So I'm going to grab my sticky notes on her childhood, and I'm going to kind of separate them out and decide what order I want to put them in. Okay, so I reorganized my stack so that my facts go in the order that I think makes most sense. And because I'm doing a report on a person, I put my facts in chronological order, so order of events. So starting with when she was born, and then going to school, her brother taking control, and then her fighting her brother for control. If you are doing a report about an animal or a sport or something else, you might not have as specific of an order to put your facts in, because like the example with soccer yesterday, it's not as important what order you share some of those things in as when you're doing a person and things happen in a specific order. So just pay attention to that. So now that I have these in order, I'm going to work on writing them into my paragraph. So that is my first subtopic paragraph. And because it's kind of hard to see where my paragraphs are, I'm going to take my highlighter. You could also just use your pen, pencil, whatever you're writing with. And I'm just going to remind myself with a little strip separating them. This is my rough draft, so it's fine to do things like this. On a final draft, you're not going to separate your paragraphs with lines like this, though. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue writing my paragraphs about her time as pharaoh and her legacy, and then my conclusion. Okay, so I've got my introduction, my 3 subtopic paragraphs, and now I have my conclusion left to do. My conclusion, I'm just going to kind of restate what my subtopics were. So I'm going to go back and look at my introduction. She had an interesting childhood before becoming pharaoh and is still remembered today. And I'm just going to kind of rephrase that to wrap things up. I just did a quick conclusion sentence. Cleopatra's life and time as pharaoh were very interesting, which is why she's still remembered today. And that's it for my rough draft. I'm going to hold on to my rough draft. I'm going to hold on to all my notes in case I need to change anything. That way I am ready for tomorrow. So take some time right now to work on your rough drafts, and I will see y'all back here tomorrow.